Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies.
Bruce is the direct line to all that's true in this shitty world.
Seriously, what does he know about our world?
It's like Bruce knows everything I've ever felt, everything I've ever wanted.
You think that this man sings for people like us?
But he talks to me.
Is that Billy Joel?
Billy Joel? You try and raise your kids right, Jay.
It's directed and co-written by Gurinder Chadha, whose previous work I am not too familiar with. The main cast includes Vivek Kaura, also whose work I am not familiar with, Kulvinder Geer, also not familiar with him, Aaron Fagora, whose work I am also not familiar with. This is going to be a pattern. Nell Williams, who has done one episode of Game of Thrones, and Dean Charles Chapman from The Commuter. I'm going to just kind of say it. I don't quite agree with all of the early buzz saying that this is one of the best films of the year. It's definitely a good film, and it is a crowd pleaser. But man, I've got a few problems with the movie, and I just think it's good, but not great. It's definitely not the best movie of the year, or even one of them. One of the reasons why I didn't quite take to this movie like everybody else is I feel like this movie was already made. The Big Sick. Okay, obviously there are some huge differences, like The Big Sick is a romantic comedy. This movie is a musical. Well, not a musical, but it's a movie about Bruce Springsteen, and it heavily features his music. Yeah, it still kind of holds to the same principles of, my parents moved to this country, I am now integrated into this culture, and I just want to be treated like an equal, and I want to be free to do what I believe I want to do. I don't want to build a wall between my family and what I want, but at the same time, I don't want to be anchored down by it. There is a whole lot of that. There are those parallels. And it's really hard not to see those similarities. Okay, but let's divorce these two movies. Okay, so they're similar. Does that necessarily mean that Blinded by the Light is bad? Absolutely not. It is still an enjoyable flick. You just kind of know what the movie's about and where it's going to end up. So let's take it in a vacuum. What does it do well? For one thing, I really enjoy the music. I'm not usually a Bruce Springsteen fan, but that's more out of I've never actually listened to his music, never sat down to listen to the lyrics or anything. So this is a nice little starting point for me to get more into them. The culture for this family and what they're trying to do is explored quite well. They are not wealthy. The father just got laid off from his job. The mother now has to go and work extra hard. The sisters, I think there's more than one sister. I lost track after the first half hour. But yeah, they seem like they need to work harder, and the son, Javik, he's trying to find a job, but he can't. And now he's getting all sucked into his writing. He's all getting inspired by his teacher, Miss Clay. And he also, gets a little girl crazy over this one girl. More than anything, it's an exploration of how music can touch your soul. Now that I'm thinking about it, one of my favorite elements of the story, it's a smaller one, but matters to me, is that Javid is not the only one in the family who sees the hypocrisy behind the father, which I will get into later. But the mom knows that she's being driven too hard and that she kind of pleads with her husband to kind of ease off. That the sister acknowledges the hypocrisy, and she introduces Javid later on to this huge dance place where there's a bunch of foreigners, maybe all Pakistani, I couldn't quite tell. But Like they're free to dress how they want, dance how they want, express themselves how they really want to express themselves. So I like that Javid's not alone in wanting more for himself and wanting to break free of the restrictions of the family. I think that's a nice touch. Also, I kind of feel like there's a disconnection between what this movie is trying to do versus what it actually does, and I need to explain that one a bit. Its cheesiness is a little too over the top. Like, you have segments in this movie that absolutely feel like it's a musical. Like, you have characters singing the lyrics to a Bruce Springsteen song, and they'll be dancing to it and all that stuff. But it comes out of nowhere, and it doesn't feel like this movie is supposed to be portrayed in that kind of world. It's supposed to be portrayed like reality. But then you have characters that just break out in a song, and anyone else, if you saw this in real life, you'd think they were crazy people. But they're portrayed as like, oh, damn, that showed me I'm a racist who told them to get up from their seat and this is our table, but I guess they showed me by suddenly singing a Springsteen song. Or you have a moment where Javid sees his love interest and he just breaks out into a song and ditches work. Even his boss, breaks from work and joins him in a song. And it's just like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand what's happening here. Like, is this reality? Is this all in his head? Since when was this a musical? It's not really a musical. It doesn't treat itself like it is. Sure, take it in a vacuum and take the scene for what it is. It is charming, and these actors are giving it their all. But man, when you look at it as a whole package, it's just weird. It's very, very weird. All right, I'm just gonna kind of get this off my chest really quick. The only thing I don't like about this movie is the father. Now, don't get me wrong. Kulvinder Gier delivers a fantastic performance. He's giving it his all, and he sells it. You buy that he is a father just trying to do right by his family. But here's where I'm taking issue with his character. So he's the one who got laid off from his great job that he's been a part of for 16 years. And he's done everything for them. He's bent over backwards, all that good shit, but he still loses his job. But now he's taken up this role as like the alpha male, which I assume is pretty common in the Pakistani culture. So he's driving his wife, driving his daughter to work harder and make extra money. And it's not that, it's revealed that later on that he does find another job, but it feels like it's a non-paying job. It doesn't feel like it's a non-paying job. It is not a non-paying job. But apparently, like, his wife makes it clear that he can ask to be paid for it, but then he's all like, well, how would it look if I did ask for money? It's like, well, first of all, I wasn't clear. I missed what this job was, but if you can make money off of it, why wouldn't you? You're driving everyone else into working harder and making extra money, but the only person not making money in this family is the father. It's so hypocritical, and it's only addressed once in the movie, and it drives me absolutely crazy. And this is sort of where the movie falls apart whenever he's on screen. He has so many restrictions for his family, which, again, culturally I understand, but if he's so worried about money, he should be asking for money. And if this job isn't paying him, then he needs to find another job, no matter what it is. You'd think that would be the goal of this family, of this man. But he doesn't do anything. It's just so hypocritical, and yet the movie kind of treats it like he's supposed to be just misunderstood. He's missing the point. And yes, he absolutely is, but in a way that I don't think the movie intended. Like, he's just an asshole. Like, he doesn't have a whole lot of redeeming value to him. The only reason he does have redeeming value is because it's shoehorned in. We're supposed to feel that way because the script demands that we feel that way. But his actions speak differently. And honestly, by the end of the movie, I kind of wished he'd stayed a curmudgeon old man and just been unhappy with the fact that his family is distancing themselves from him, and his son is moving on to bigger, better things, but he just doesn't approve. It just feels like it would have been more in line with his character, that he's the boss, and he'll do what he wants, but everyone has to do what he wants. You see what I'm getting at? It's not my favorite part of the movie, and it's such a big part of the movie. It just feels like another artist wants to be an artist, but his family is the antagonist kind of story, especially the father. Like, I've never seen that before. I don't want this to take away from the fact that the acting is really good. Vivek Kalra, Aaron Fagora, Nell Williams, everyone does a fantastic job. They really do. It's just their performance is in a movie that I've seen over and over again. Really, what's going to do it for you is the acting and the music itself. But if you remember for 5 seconds that this movie is like every other movie that's come before it, it's hard to enjoy it as much as everyone else is. Yes, it's a feel-good movie. Yes, it has emotional moments. I won't lie. It's hard for me to like it as much as everyone else does because I've seen it before. And I'm just going to end it on that. My honest rating for Blinded by the Light is a strong 3 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.